All right, let's get right into it. The saga of Paperwork Poppy continues. UMG has officially responded to Drake's lawsuit against them for the song Not Like Us, their distribution of the song Not Like Us. And then Drake's team responded to their motion to dismiss, right? Which is how UMG responded to the lawsuit. Now, you can probably hear in my voice, I am a little bit tired of this, but let's just cover it and try to hopefully once and for all they accept that dismissal or the case gets dismissed and we'll be done with all this legal jargon and things like that. But let's first go with Drake's team's response and the narrative that they're trying to push, that some people who are not thinking clearly or just can't think clearly are not getting about this lawsuit and this whole situation. All right, so a statement from Drake's lawyer, Michael J. Gottlieb. In a statement shared with Pitchfork, UMG wants to pretend that this is about a rap battle in order to distract its shareholders, artists, and the public from a simple truth. A greedy company is finally being held responsible for profiting from dangerous misinformation that has already resulted in multiple acts of violence. This motion is a desperate ploy by UMG to avoid accountability, but we have every confidence that this case will proceed and continue to uncover UMG's long history of endangering, abusing, and taking advantage of artists. Now, all of that he just said, okay? And this is it's kind of cunning by the lawyer, right? Because people who are not very swift are going to lean into conspiracy theories and things like that. And listen, some of that is not conspiracy theories. Things do happen behind the scenes, and this is what makes this lawsuit even worse for artists in the future. And I'm gonna explain that as we get through UMG's response. But first, let's get to I took just one comment off of Twitter X, which is the problem with the fan bases of hip hop right now. And I didn't share the user's name because it's a stupid comment, but y'all ninjas defending a label that takes advantage of artists just because he's favoring Kenny over Drake. And y'all can make it about the battle all y'all want. If you really listen to Drake's music, he's seen this ish coming 2 years ago, almost 3. So y'all can act surprised all y'all want. Now, what does that have to do with anything? I don't know. But the OV holes are out here doing a lot more damage to hip hop and the perception of it than they are doing any good. And I don't think they realize that. This would have been over a long time ago and everybody would have moved on. And the shine for other artists would be available if this wasn't still dominating the headlines, because Drake couldn't take his loss and go sit down and then come back with some better music. That's all he had to do. But okay, here we go. Okay, we're gonna start why the whole case was dangerous, right? Is dangerous and made no sense, okay? Just with this simple word that I have on the screen right here, which is hyperbole. Now, the definition of hyperbole is exaggerated statements or claims not meant to be taken literally, right? Which is exaggeration, okay? Music is based on this. Music with lyrics. It's based on hyperbole. Most of it, 95% of it, okay? Scripts for any kind of plays, television, whatever, books, authors, all of that is based on hyperbole, fiction, right? Exaggeration of the truth, okay? This is what they're attacking in this lawsuit. What does that have to do with helping artists? What are the artists gonna talk about if they can't use hyperbole? If that's under attack, and that is under attack in this lawsuit, let's get to UMG's response. Now, I'm not gonna go through the whole thing like I did on the previous videos with the Drake lawsuit, things like that, but just I wanna highlight some key parts. Okay, courts in this district have observed that there's a particular value in resolving defamation claims at the pleading stage, so as to not protract litigation through discovery and trial and thereby chill the exercise of constitutionally protected freedoms. Freedom of speech is what they're referring to. Now, here in section 2, Drake fails to state a claim for defamation. Drake, who had no concerns using UMG's platform to publish slurs about Lamar during their rap feud, now claims that Not Like Us is defamatory. That kills the case right there. But anyway, these allegations, which are directly aimed at chilling legitimate artistic expression safeguarded by the First Amendment and New York law are meritless. Now I'm skipping over the case file information that's listed in this throughout. But anyway, Drake fails to state a claim for defamation because Not Like Us conveys non-actionable opinion and rhetorical hyperbole, not fact. And because Drake cannot adequately allege that UMG acted with actual malice. Period. There's no way you can prove that they did anything on purpose. To succeed on his defamation claim, Drake must establish a defamatory statement of and concerning the plaintiff, publication to a third party, falsity of the defamatory statement, and special damages or per se actionability. Right? And then they talk about the Michael Rappaport versus Barstool lawsuit. Whereas the plaintiff is a public figure, he must prove that the allegedly defamatory statement was made with actual malice, that is, made with knowledge of its falsity or with reckless disregard of whether it was false. Now, this is speaking about UMG's knowledge of these claims, not Kendrick Lamar's. Now, UMGs can simply say, we have no idea what either one of them are talking about. We just know that they're dissing each other as artists have done since they've been making music. Period. Okay? Before there was even hip hop and rap, people take shots at each other through music. It has happened. Okay? People take shots at random people that they know in their life. People take shots at public figures. People take shots at political figures through song, through poetry, through film, through books, through writings, through media coverage, through articles. What is this lawsuit really about? This is dumb. Looney Tunes, like I put in the thumbnail. Shout out to Drake dressing like the red character Gossamer for promoting that whack album. But anyway, section A. I'm gonna read a couple sentences here. The first couple sentences. To be defamatory, a publication must convey fact, not opinion or rhetorical hyperbole. Expressions of opinion as opposed to assertions of fact are deemed privileged and no matter how offensive cannot be subject of an action for defamation. Okay, I'm reading slow for the OV hoes. Whether a statement is fact or opinion is a question of law for the court. And then they go on to list that process, okay, in which the court determines whether something is defamation, which would have been done, as far as I know, in the discovery part of the case, which Drake and them dropped. They didn't want to do the discovery. They just went straight for the lawsuit, which I think is the reason why, because you did the same thing, right? So if, let's say they deem that Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us is defamatory, so with Family Matters, that would be defamatory, because you would have to then prove that not only Kendrick Lamar is a woman beater, you would have to prove that one of his children is not his and that it is the child of Dave Freeze, as well as so many other things that you allege in your diss tracks towards Kendrick Lamar. And then Meek Mill could come out the shadows and sue for everything you said about him. Joe Budden could come out the shadows and sue for everything you said about him. Kanye can come out the shadows and sue for everything you said about him. And speaking of Kanye, let's take a quick detour. And I just covered this statement by him that was 4 or 5 years ago. As far as the approach that artists should have taken, you know, to be on a crusade to get better results out of being represented by and distributed by these major corporations, which I agree with, right? I talked about this in the video where I talked about him and Drake, Kanye and Drake, hating on Kendrick at this point, right? And why they hate on him so much. But anyway, recently anyway. This statement right here, we need me, J. Cole, Drake, Kendrick, all in the room together. It's time to get free. We will not argue amongst each other while somebody we don't know in Europe is getting paid and putting that money in a hedge fund. Okay, that would be the way to go about it. The artists would have to get together. Taylor Swift, all of the bigger artists, Beyonce, etc. They would all have to get together and come up with a list of what they need from these distribution companies. And if they can't meet that, then they find ways to go to court and sue for those rights. This lawsuit Drake has put together is not about any other artist but himself. Okay, he's talking about himself being defamed. This has nothing to do with any other artist getting anything from UMG. Protecting them from what? What are you all talking about? Nothing. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about your little sad hero, okay, in Drake. And I'm sorry that he's your hero, but he is. And you picked the wrong guy, period, point blank. He's a buster. He's a lame for this. This is indefensible because what he's doing is he's putting all artists' creativity at risk. He's not helping anybody. Not trying to help anybody. If he wins this lawsuit, all these companies, YouTube, all the distributors, Apple, have to now go through everybody's creativity with a fine-tooth comb to make sure nothing is in it that can be defamatory and they can be sued for. Not the artists themselves, the company, the distributor, okay, the studios that make movies. Everybody would be at risk if this lawsuit won, because it would set precedent for people to sue for defamation if they felt like anybody was talking about them or they felt any kind of way about any artistic creation on any platform put forth. That's what this would set the precedent for if Drake won this lawsuit. So now what is everybody supposed to sing and rap about? Rainbows and bubblegum? Like, what are you all missing about this? Okay, this boy got his feelings hurt, got crushed in a battle, crushed, and he can't take it. Go sit down. Okay, you should have enough money to go sit down for a while and regroup, because no matter how you want to slice it, this lawsuit and the ramifications of it, let's say, like I said, if he was to win, would be incredible. Like, every type of music would be under attack. You couldn't even sing like religious music or gospel music because people could say, well, there's no proof of whatever religion or things that you're singing about other than the book, and I don't believe in that. I believe in another religion, and that religion is defaming our religion or it's against our religion. It would be nonsense. It would just be chaos all over the place. That's why the lawsuit is not going to win. But what I'm talking about is the intent by the person who filed it and where their mind is really at and how dangerous having that person in charge and in front of everything. I can see why everybody grouped up against him now. I really can. And I believe all of the cease and desist stories and the stealing stories and the dirty macking stories and the hanging out at the high school basketball game stories. Oh, Zach Morris head ninja. What is the problem here? What are you all missing? You all are the fans of a buster, a scrub, a goofy, or at least that's what he's showing with these actions. Period, point blank. And again, OVO Nation, y'all not making it any better. You think you are, you think you're being supportive, you're making him look worse. Period, point blank. So hopefully the court grants the dismissal of the case and they dismiss this case and everybody can move on. Round 2, will Kanye and Drake come together to compete with Kendrick Lamar? I'm not sure they're gonna all out diss him, knowing their egos. I wouldn't doubt it though. But there seems to be that there could be some kind of conversations going on in the background and some jealousy going on. Covered that in the video I did yesterday. Lost Legends, check that one out. Link will be at the end of this video, as well as the playlist for covering this whole Paperwork Poppy saga. So check that out if you haven't seen any of those videos. That'll get you up to speed on how silly this whole lawsuit and how dramatic this whole lawsuit has been. This whole lawsuit thing about Not Like Us. But anyway, man, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Hit that like button if you haven't hit that like button yet. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. This is the place you want to be for hip hop news, music discussion, and music breakdowns, all coming soon. Thank y'all for watching as always, and we are out.